Okay. Welcome, everybody. 205, February 5th. Man, so we are on the second month of 2021. Hey, so we do have some interesting things today. We've got a triple first. What does that mean? Anybody know what that is?
Nope.
A triple first means we got, okay, Lucille.
First
What's up?
Toastmaster is Angeles. First time Table Topics Master is Adrian. And then, let's see. Who's the other one? No, just two. I'm missing
Someone's
one.
raising their hand. Did you see that?
Oh, first time General Elevator. Sorry, bro.
Yeah. Woohoo! All right.
I'm trying to find you.
So that's awesome. You know, we've got people just stepping up, and that's always a good thing because you want to get out of your comfort zone. That's the only way you're going to grow and get better. You got to get out of your comfort zone, do things for the first time, do things that you've never done before. And if you have done it before, do it again, right? Do it again, get better. And with that, I am going to pass this over to our wonderful Toastmaster, Angeles.
Woohoo!
Woohoo!
Woo!
You're muted. Still muted.
You're muted.
Or
Sorry. Okay, now we.
okay, so I'll be your Toastmaster today.
Good morning.
I'm going to introduce the roles. For the odd counter, I have Stacy. She's here. Grammarian, I have Pat here. Timer, I have Devin. General Evaluator, Brooke. Like you said, it's her first time too. And Watcher, I have Megan. Okay, and Joke Master Megan too. Our theme of the day is seek magic every day. So because of that, it's magic could be like many things. Most people think like tricks, but for today's theme, it's more like a feeling of enchantment or something you like, how do you say, you like in that moment, or just like something positive. So like today, something that's like enchantment could be that I'm your Toastmaster today. So, throughout the meeting today, you in table topics, you guys could seek any experience or anything you like that could make you feel magic today. Okay, for our joke master, I have Megan. Megan, do you want to say your joke? And if everyone could turn on their mics.
Megan, you're muted.
Megan, turn on your mic.
Okay. All right. Now, well, first, there's a man sunbathing at Black's Beach. And for the sake of civility, he put a hat over his privates. So also to keep from getting sunburned. And it just so happened a woman walked by and she looked at him and snickered and said, "Man, well, if you were a gentleman, you'd raise your hat. And he said, "Well, if you weren't so homely, it'd raise itself."
Good one, Megan.
Hey. Thank you, Megan.
Dun-dun-dun.
Muted myself. Okay. Today for our first speech, we have Anita. She is on the level 3 elective. Her speech is the width of an eyelash. It's 5 to 7 minutes. And her objective is to inspire the audience. So like I was saying earlier for our theme, something that you could seek magic into listening to the speech is that you could be in awe with your speech from a new perspective. So Anita, speaker 1.
Thank you, Angeles. I'm so excited today that our theme is magic because it kind of fits in with what I'm going to say. Sometimes I don't know if I'm excited or terrified. Sometimes it seems to me the difference between what we want and what we fear is the width of an eyelash. And that's a quote from Jay McInerney. He's a contemporary author. And I read that a couple of years ago, and it just kind of resonated with me because why is it so hard sometimes? Why are we afraid to step out and step towards what we want? You know that fear is just a natural and normal reaction. It is a survival and protection instinct. It keeps us from danger. But there's a big difference between fear of your life and survival and an irrational fear of, let's say, cutting open a dragon fruit and trying it. And I'll tell you about that later. Many times in my life, I found myself fearful of stepping out, and that had nothing to do with survival. It had to do with not wanting to be judged and wondering what people will think, fear of the unknown, and making a mistake, things like that. And unless you're 100% confident all of the time, you know exactly what I'm talking about. That fear has to do with confidence, doesn't it? And there are all kinds of studies and theories on confidence and ways to increase self-esteem, get over the fear, and build your confidence. The way that I found works best for me is just stepping into it, just facing my fears, just jumping right in. And the first time that I remember saying, I'm going to face my fears was when I was in my early 20s. And I was studying to be a private pilot. And I decided I was going to do touch and goes one afternoon. Touch and goes are a pretty routine thing for pilots to do. You just take off from the runway, stay in the airport pattern, line up on final, land, and once you've landed, you put the power back in and you take off again. It's just practicing takeoffs and landings. I knew this one day that there would be some weather and it would be a little bit turbulent and a little bit of a crosswind. But when I took off, I was surprised. It was very bumpy. And then the crosswind increased and there were gusts. And I was bumping around this pattern in a little Cessna 150 and I was scared. I was trying to keep the wings straight and deal with the wind. And I came around on final, lined up with the runway, and I landed. And once I landed, I remember thinking, I need to put this airplane away. This is scary. And then the second I thought, I have to face my fears. I put in the throttle and took off again. Because once you're up in the air, you've got to deal with it, right? And so I can't tell you how many times I went around in that pattern, but what I can tell you is by the time I was done, I felt a lot better about flying in weather. But something else happened too that I wasn't expecting. And what happened is I started using that for this. I started using that experience in my life. And I started saying, well, if I can do that, I can do this. And so it really kind of changed my life. It doesn't matter if your fear is rational or irrational, if you take a big step or a little step. I think that the touch and go thing was pretty rational, really. It was a pretty rational fear. But then the other day, well, this was about a month ago, probably, somebody told me about dragon fruit. And they said that it tasted wonderful and I wanted to try it, but I was afraid. Why would you be afraid to try a fruit? I have no idea. I went to the farmer's market. The farmer told me all about it. And I even bought one. He picked it out for me. So I know it was perfect. But I brought it home. I put it in the refrigerator behind everything else because then I thought, well, I'll just forget it back there, I'm sure. And every once in a while, when I opened up the refrigerator, I would see it and I would think, oh, not yet. And I think I was hoping that it would go bad. But a few weeks later, I had a friend over and she said to me, and I asked her, I said, have you tried dragon fruit? No, I'm afraid of it. So that was the challenge. We got the dragon fruit out, we each take a little bite and we had a lot of fun with it. And it was delicious. I couldn't believe it. So we all have our touch and goes and dragon fruit challenges. And now I can say, well, I've eaten dragon fruit, so I can do this. I challenge you to step out into your fears, to build your confidence, to experience life. John O'Leary, who is one of my favorite contemporary authors, said, you get to choose. Adventure awaits those who seek it. Stop acting ordinary, face your fears, and unleash the power of your expectations. Thank you.
Thank you, Anita. If everyone could take a minute to write an evaluation and send it to her. Also, if Anita could put her email in the chat box for everyone to email her, please. Thank you. Okay. So for our next part, it's I would need to, okay. So I'm going to introduce to you the general evaluator, which is Brooke, who is going to introduce Jerry to evaluate Anita. Thank you.
Thank you, Angeles, and hi everyone, happy Friday. So I'm going to introduce Jerry. He is going to be evaluating Anita. Good job.
Thank you, Brooke. Anita, I thought that was a fantastic speech. It's one of your best that I've heard. Your purpose was to inspire, and I think you really did. I like the distinction you made between rational fears and irrational fears. Sometimes we are in physical danger, and most of the time we're not. And most of the time there's irrational fears, which I like the example of the dragon fruit. I do like dragon fruit. I had no idea people were afraid of it. But it's that's a very good example of an irrational fear. And conquering your fear, it's a great thing to do. And I thought your example of the airplane and doing touch and goes and saying, hey, I'm going to handle this. And, stepping up is really, it really is a metaphor for our lives that you have to handle things. And once you do conquer your fear, there is a lot of feeling of confidence. You build that confidence, which you talked about in your speech, that most people don't go through life 100% confident. We all have these self-doubts. And that's really what you're trying to do, is inspire us. I like the way you ended your speech. You had a quote that you ended it with. It's a good way to kind of make the message again, repeat it. I thought it was really very well done. You laid it out in the beginning, what you were going to say, you said it, and then you closed with a great conclusion. So all in all, I thought it was good. I don't have a pearl of wisdom to tell you how to step it up or anything. I thought it was enthusiastic and I thought it was appropriate. Thank you.
Thank you, Jerry and Brooke. If I could get a timers report for the speaker and evaluator, please.
Yes. They both qualified. Anita came in exactly at 6 minutes and Jerry at 1 minute, 30 seconds.
Okay, thank you. So, okay. Our next part of the meeting, we only had one speaker, so the next part would be the table topics. In the table topics, you could find your magic by using your imagination and creativity. So like some people never really see like when it's fall, they don't really tell like the leaves turn green to like yellow or anything, you know, you just go on with life. But during table topics, you could tell and imagine like little details. I don't know, like if you were to go on a walk in the morning and you notice like some leaves had like frost or like raindrops on them. So you could do something similar with table topics. Our table topics master is Adrian. Adrian.
Hi, everyone. I am happy to be here today. And I knew we only had one speaker, so hopefully I'll have enough table topics for us. The word of the day, Angeles, if you wouldn't mind typing it in. I'm on my phone today. So the word of the day today is going to be splendiferous. And she's going to put it up there. And so with I love to, when Angeles told me that today, you know, that it's going to be seek magic every day. I absolutely love that theme. And for me, learning and awareness is something that's very magical that I consciously bring to my life, personally, professionally, everything. And there's a few reasons. Of course, it keeps our brain healthy, right? When we're learning and we're aware. And of course, it keeps our curiosity and childlike wonder alive, which I think is so, so important. One of the things with awareness, right? Why do I think awareness is magical? A good analogy I like to use is a car analogy. So have you ever bought, and you don't need to answer, I'm just curious for yourself. Have you ever bought a new car and suddenly you see it everywhere on the road? And it's not that the car just appeared, right? It's just that our awareness changed. My brother, even I drove my niece's Kia a couple months ago. My brother's like, let's count the Kias on the road. And ever since, every time I see a Kia Soul, I'm like, oh my gosh, there's thousands of them, right? But before I never noticed. So it can almost seem like magic, right? That it just appears when in reality, it's already been there. And then I chose the word splendiferous because I think it's a magical word to say, kind of like supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. And I also was very interested to know that scrumdiddlyumptious is actually a word in the dictionary. I didn't know that, but splendiferous, it actually means beautiful, right? It's something that's absolutely splendid, amazing. It's actually a very old word back from the English dictionary. It came to my awareness last year. And like things happen, right? I learned it in April and never heard it before. And then somebody else said it to me, And then 2 weeks ago, I actually drew that word in Apples to Apples Junior. So just like magic, my awareness, here it is. And now I get to share it with all of you. So bringing magic. So the first question that I have is kind of like Angela said, that's going to be something that's relative to all of us. We're probably all going to have a bit of a different idea of what bringing magic into our daily lives is. So I'm going to call on, the question first is going to be, what does today's theme of seek magic every day mean to you? So what does that truly mean to you? And how about if I call on Debbie?
Thank you for that question, Adrian. I love the theme today, and I like the thought of seeking magic every day, because it's so easy to get caught up in your day-to-day, grind of what we have to do, and what's going on in our responsibilities. And I've been really trying to take the time to look around me and to notice the beauty in the world and notice all the good, and just really pay attention to the little things. And so I think that there's magic in little things. I think that there's magic in the beautiful sunsets we get, especially being so close to the beach here. And that the sky has been so beautiful. And, just looking around the world really can be magical. So it's splendiferous, all the beauty that there is. I have to say that when I got your beautiful template that you sent, Angelus, I was trying to say that word and I couldn't say it right, and my husband was laughing at me. And so he finally figured out, he told me how to say it. So I really did learn a new word today, splendiferous. And so thank you.
Love it. I love it. Thank you, Debbie. Absolutely. All right. And that was actually goes right into my next question. So my next question, because we've all probably heard the saying, right? The best things in life are free. And just like Debbie just said, I love sunsets. I absolutely cherish them and take the time to awe at them, especially here where we're so blessed to live. So the next question is, what in life, right, do you think, what are one of the best things in life that is free, that brings magic into your life? And how about if we hear from Greg?
Wow, best things that are free. Well, most things are free, I think. It's just so great to, I don't know, be alive in this world today. It really, truly is. The sunsets are amazing. The beach and everything is so wonderful, I think. And to me, a great gift in life that's free are smiles. That a smile can do so much for people. And laughs are terrific. I laugh a lot more than I should, probably, because things are funny. Even serious things can be extremely funny, because you can't stand things to be serious all the time. People who have terrible jobs, surgeons and people in service, make up jokes as they go along, because laughing is great medicine. It's a splendiferous thing to do. So my advice to you is smile and laugh all you can.
I love that. Thank you so much. Absolutely. That was great. Okay, so motivational quotes, right? One of my favorite motivational quotes. We had such great table topics last week with motivational quotes and all kinds of quotes. And so one of my favorite quotes is, this is one I have a hard time saying, it's Goethe, Goethe, is whatever you can do or dream you can, begin it. Boldness has genius, power, and magic in it. I'm going to say it again. Whatever you can do or dream you can, begin it. Boldness has genius, power, and magic in it. Let's hear from Stacy. Stacy, how would you interpret that quote?
Thank you. I love that quote. I have heard that many times before, and I believe that is really how we should live our lives. We should not live our lives in an ordinary way. We should always step out of our comfort zone and really work on trying to do something that, that we haven't done before. Go somewhere we haven't been before. Just like Anita said, try the dragon fruit. Try something that you haven't tried before. Go somewhere you haven't been before. And just live your life outside of the box. Don't just be ordinary. I love also the quote that says, I guess we heard this last week, is a life unexamined is not worth living. And I just believe that totally, that why be ordinary? And that's my take on that. Thank you.
Love it. Thank you, Stacy. Absolutely. It's a beautiful take on it. Absolutely. So speaking of that, right, the Wright brothers are my favorite dream building story. I go back and forth between the Wright brothers and Edison. But of course, at that time, right, flight seemed like magic. I'm sure we can all imagine what it would be like to live back then before we knew planes were a thing. And to think of human beings flying, right? Holy crud, that would be magic, right? That's how it seemed like at the time. And so what I would love, the question is can you look back in your life and describe a time when you brought results into reality that you or others didn't think was possible? So I'll say it one more time. So look back on your life and think of a time you brought results into reality that you or others did not think was possible. How about if we hear from Paul?
Thank you for that table topic. You know, I think one of the things that was splendiferous, speaking of flight, was this was about a year ago before all the coronavirus hit, and I had the opportunity to take my 18-year-old, 19-year-old daughter to New York with me on a business trip. And what was really interesting to get her out of her comfort zone was she did not like flying. She flew on a plane when she was in 4th grade, but she had not flown since. And she got into her brain that she couldn't do it. And so she wanted to go to New York. It was a great idea to come to New York. It's a beautiful time. And she really wanted to visit some of the design schools out there. So getting her on the plane was a big deal. And she got on. She was kind of freaking out a little bit. She grabbed Daddy's hand, but it was really, really wonderful. It was splendiferous just to see her overcome. And once we got in the air, she's all, this is not so bad. And I got to tell you, on the descent going in, it was a little bit bumpy, a little bit turbulent. She was holding me a little bit tighter. And then when we landed, it was like, but that was just a real opportunity to take somebody by the hand. And it sounds like something so simple, but to help somebody do something that they didn't think they could do before. And then when they found out, it's not so bad.
Love it. Thank you. That's a great story too. How beautiful. What a great experience for you and your daughter. That's wonderful. So for me, another invention that I think is magical to this day, even being 42, is the telephone. My best friend lives in Paris and I still marvel. I think I will to the day I pass away. How in the world can I hear her beautiful voice when she's in Paris, France, and I'm here? Right. So it's mind boggling to me in a good way. So the question is there something that you use or see daily that you still ponder at how it works? How about Angel? Let's hear from you.
Hello, Adrian. Thank you. Would you mind repeating the question, please?
Of course. Is there something that you use or see daily in life that you still ponder at how it works?
Well, I don't know if this is exactly what sort of answer you're looking for, but what I see daily and marvel at constantly in many levels are my animals. Because for one thing, I was allergic my whole life and didn't think I'd be able to have animals. But for another, I didn't realize they were so intelligent. I didn't realize how sensitive and wonderful and humorous they are. And my dog in particular has a sense of humor. He tells jokes. I never expected. I marvel daily. It is splendiferous. Well, the cats, of course, I have this many. And they have no sense of humor at all. We laugh at them constantly. They're hilarious and ridiculous. But the dog will do something, like even if I call him and I try to figure out how his mind works, you know, and he goes, and I go, just come here. And I think, has he forgotten? Is he going to show me up? And then he might, wait a minute. He goes like that, like that. And then he runs towards me and he's just kidding, like a 2-year-old is kidding, you know. Oh, maybe you don't know what I mean, but it is the funniest thing. And I think it's splendiferous. And I'm always hoping I can try and understand a human mind, but now to try and understand an animal mind is absolutely incredible. And I absolutely love it. So I'm looking forward to this new invention, which will be a little translator for them. So we'll know what they're thinking. Thank you for that question.
I love that answer. I love it. Absolutely. And yes, and yes, animals. My dog, I understand everything my dog is thinking. Other people do too. It's amazing. And hearing you say splendiferous sounds splendiferous, by the way, too. It's
Splendiferous.
absolutely gorgeous hearing you say it. Beautiful hearing you say it. Thank you. So the next one is, and this is fun, I hope you're all having fun, is another dream building story I love is Walt Disney. So many of you may know this. Walt Disney got fired from the newspaper for not being creative enough, right? Got fired and then creates Disneyland, right? So the question is, have you had a time in your life when a perceived professional failure turned into a huge success? So a time in your life, a perceived failure turned into a success. How about if we hear from Jessie?
I don't see her.
Oh, she must have left. Sorry about that. Okay. How about if we hear from Lucille?
Did you just call me?
I did. Do you want me to repeat the question?
Yes, please.
Yeah, absolutely. So have you had a time in your life when a perceived professional failure turned into a success?
Good question. Thank you for that.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. A failure, professional failure. How should I discuss? That's a splendiferous question that I don't have an answer. But what I like to answer is about the other question that not Jerry, but Greg was asked, if I may. What's the things that makes me wonder, or rather the one that just answered by somebody else just before this, by Angel. What makes me wonder about some invention, I'm still in awe of it, is the airplane. I mean, this chunk of steel, how could it possibly fly? I know there's, with engineering and all that, but still at this point in my life, and I love flying, that big chunk of metal is able to fly all the way, land safely. And I'm sure Anita could attest to that because there is some training and all the technology that's in the plane now. But in the very beginning, the Wright brother, how could they imagine having that piece of metal fly? That is splendiferous, and just, I am in awe. Thank you.
Absolutely. Me too. The big ships too, like the big Navy ships, that those big things can float is absolutely amazing. 100%. All right. So how about, let's see, how about Deanna? Do you want to tackle the last question? Deanna, have you had a time in your life when a perceived professional failure turned into a huge success?
Thank you, Adrienne. I was struggling trying to think of an answer when you asked that to Lucille too. But one thing did pop into my mind is going to trade shows. Remember those days, going to trade shows long time ago, maybe not so long ago. And you think, I'm going to be standing there talking to people. I'm going to be standing there for 3 days, and you just don't know who you're going to see. And all I could think of was, I'm going to be tired. I'll be standing on my legs and just using up a lot of energy. So I think the idea of trade shows can be very energy seeping, and thinking that I'm going to spend a good part of my week there, I would think that it might be a failure of my time. But surprisingly, at the end of the day, when you go back and you look at the people that you talk to, the leads that you get, they're oftentimes little opportunities that can grow to really, really big opportunities. And it's also really good learning experiences too, because when customers come to the table and they're asking questions and I don't have an answer, but my application engineer has the answer. So that's an opportunity for me to learn, for my customers to learn, to get engaged, and to really turn around a situation that can be very negative or boring and not successful become a huge success when you just live the moment, make the best of it, put on your smiley face, be the positive influence, and try to encourage customers to see the opportunities in whatever products that we have to offer. Thank you.
Thank you, Deanna. I love it. What time am I going till today? I know it's a little different. Am I going till 12:50? Sorry.
Well, I have noted here until 12:45.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. Sorry about that. Okay. So the next question, and I absolutely loved your answer, Deanna, so thank you. So learning, I know I brought up learning earlier. I believe it's magical. I love expanding my mind. For me, one of the most interesting subjects I've learned is the study of quantum physics, and that there is a scientific formula of how human beings, we can actually take quantum leaps in our results and how we do that. So the question is, what's been one of the most transformative topics you've learned and you're able to actively apply to your life? Okay, so you've learned it and you can apply it to your life for results. How about if we hear from Jerry?
Thank you, Adrian. I think what I've learned is that using the power of intention is very interesting to me. It's something that I've studied. I was just reading a book about it recently. And it's something, if you want to get some splendiferous results, I think you have to decide what it is you want. You have to picture it in your mind. You have to sell yourself first before you can attain it, meaning you have to actually believe what it is you were trying to achieve. You convince yourself, you do affirmations, you picture it, you live into it, you set an intention, this is what I'm going to make happen, and you really go for it 100%. You don't hold back. And that to me is, it's very exciting. It's something that's worked for me. When you know what you want, you go after it. Generally, you're going to get it because you do whatever it takes to get it. So I would say if you want splendiferous results, set your goals, set your image of what you want, and get out of your own way and just go for it. Thank you.
Love it. Absolutely, Jerry. I always say that it's like driving a car, right? If we don't know where we're going, we get in a car, we're just going to go in circles. So we have to have the intention of knowing where we're going. Absolutely. I love that. Great, great. All right. So the next one is, so we're speaking of magical superpowers. We've talked about flying a little bit today. If I could have a magical superpower, I would love to fly. I would love the freedom of flying in the wind. I've skydived, I've bungee jumped. I love that feeling. I would absolutely love the speed. I'm a bit of an adrenaline junkie. So the question is, if you could have a magical superpower, what would it be and why? Let's hear from beautiful Brooke.
Hi, oh gosh, okay. What would my superpower be? I feel like I would like to fly too. Because also I'd like to fly because then I would be able to get home much more often. I have been away from home for over a year now, and I think obviously being last year and COVID was a really hard year, just being homesick. So if I could fly or teleport or, just go and see my family and just be with them, my, family and my friends, everyone's getting older, and my grandparents. So, and I would love Jack. I know Jack always talks about wanting to go home. And we had to tell him the excuse during COVID that the planes were closed, so that they were all broken because he couldn't understand COVID and the virus. So he actually came home the other day and he was like, "Mommy, I saw a plane in the sky. That means that they're working again, aren't they?" And I kind of had to break it to him, like, "Oh well, not the planes that go all the way home." So that would be my superpower. Thank you.
Love it. Love it. I'm sure your family would love you to fly home too. That they would fly to you if they could. Absolutely. All right. So the next one is, I figure we can't talk about magic, right, without talking about actual magicians. I know there's a couple shows right now on Netflix, Magic for Humans. So my question is, what is your take on magic and how it really works? Because magic is something that boggles my mind. So what's your take on magic and how it really works, Pat?
Thanks. I'll try and have a splendiferous answer for that. I always like the magicians or or people at the circus, you know, walking on the tightrope. And I think it's really a cool craft because they've been doing it for centuries, where they have people with the cards or the rabbit out of the hat, and it's really entertaining. The ones that I really dig are like the guy that can like bend spoons or something, and I don't know who the guy is, David Blaine. I think it's a little corny, some of the things they do, but I just find it entertaining, even in a funny way, how cheesy they can be, like David Copperfield or the old time or the ones from the 70s. But yeah, I think it's really entertaining, and it kind of takes us out of our everyday mindset where you think, oh, that's possible, or that's, how do they do that? And I think it's the mystery of it makes it not just magic, but you know, the mystery behind, oh, they're just doing some sleight of hand things, but it's really entertaining, and I think it's positive way to express yourself. So that's all I have.
Wonderful. Thank you. Absolutely. So I think we have time for one, maybe two more. So, so one practice, I know we've talked a couple times about gratitude here. So, you know, it's impossible for our minds, which I think is magical, to be grateful and resentful at the same time, grateful and angry at the same time. So of course, a way to lift our mood at any time is to think of gratitude. Another trick I have to lift my mood is dancing. Women, we can dance in place. Men, you can just jump in place, lift your vibration. So the question is, what practices do you incorporate into your life that brings happiness and magic into your life with ease? So what practices do you incorporate in your life that brings happiness and magic into your life, Devin?
Thank you. Well, I have a few. I have been trying the gratitude journal task this year. A friend of mine, we watched a video. We were like, okay, we'll try it. And you're supposed to write down 3 things every morning. I do find it a skill need to get used to, because if you're doing 3 a day, you have to get past the like obvious ones, like, you know, your family and your house, and like you got to start digging a little deeper. So that's been good to kind of try to get that going. But I would say during the last year, when I'm feeling down, and that has happened several times being stuck at home, the thing that always gives me an instant boost is my niece, Sadie. So she's coming up on her 2nd birthday in March, but so we have tons of videos and pictures, and we do weekly Zoom chats with her, and that always puts a smile on my face. She's such a joy to watch. Every time we see her and talk to her, she has learned something new, a new word, a new skill, and just that fresh innocence. Like, she's aware something's going on. She knows about masks and checking her temperature, but she doesn't really know. So she's just happy all the time in her little world and learning new things. So I would say that has been my go-to if I need a happiness boost.
I love that. Thank you, Devin. Yeah, children are magical. Another favorite quote of mine, Marianne Williams says, Children are happy because they don't have a file in their mind that says what can go wrong. Right? They're just present, right? They're just here and they're very, very happy. So I think that's it. I hope you all had fun and maybe learned a little bit. So thank you very much. It's been an honor to be your table topic master today. I'll send it back to Miss Angeles.
Thank you, Adrian. Those were some pretty good questions. Made me think a lot about my life. May I please get a timers report for table topics, please?
Yes, everybody qualified except for Deanna on time. She was a little over.
Okay, thank you. And may I please get the grammarian report for the word of the day for table topics, please?
Oh no. Oh my gosh, I'm sorry. I was just
I did it. I took it. If you need me to jump in.
Oh, you did? Yeah, because
Yeah.
I was just listening for language. I forgot I was
Oh.
supposed to listen.
So
Did anyone?
Stacey didn't say it. I didn't say it. And I don't think I heard Deanna say it. And
Okay.
Devin, did you say it? No.
Devin.
Okay.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
Thanks, Brooke.
So that leaves Debbie, Greg, Paul, Angel, Lucille, Jerry, and Pat that qualify for table topics. Okay, so
I think Jerry, you
the-
qualified too, right, Jerry?
yeah, Jerry.
Yeah, Jerry qualified, if I didn't hear you say that.
Oh. Okay, so the ballot will appear on your screens, but meanwhile that's happening, I'm gonna get some other reports. So could I get a grammarian report for like the meeting overall, please?
Okay, yeah, let me do this real quick. Okay. Okay, so I really like the topic, seek magic every day. Angeles, you had some cool phrases, enchantment, frost, the raindrops you talked about. And then Megan, I like the word homely. I haven't heard that one in a while. Anita, you had a lot of good quotes. You know, what we fear is the width of an eyelash. Stepping into it, touch and go, deal with it. The dragon fruit challenge. And I like the quote, adventure awaits those who take it. Deanna, yeah, energy seeping, engaged, live the moment. Jerry, get out of your own way. Lucille, I like the chunk of steel that you were in awe. Adrian, the splendiferous, obviously, but childlike awareness, ponder how things work. Boldness has magic in it. Greg, I liked how you had the, smiles. Laughing is great medicine. Stacy, why be ordinary? Paul talked about overcoming things. Angel had, I think it was giddy or kidding, about your dog, and Splendor. And Brooke, teleport. And that's it. There were more, but I didn't catch them all.
Okay, thank you, Pat. Those are some pretty cool things you caught there. Makes up for the word of the day. I'm kidding. So may I please have a report from the all counter, Stacy, please?
Certainly. Yes, you may. I got a slow start. I wasn't paying attention right away, but what I've noticed, I want to precipice this with being able to notice that the seasoned people who have been here a lot longer say a lot less filler words. And so it does pay off. But what I will go down the list. Angeles had a so, 3 likes and 2 ums. Adrian, maybe because she was Table Topics Master, had, here I'm saying just because I'm talking about it, I guess. So seemed to be your phrase, but the won over all of the, yeah, I think you had 16 ums. It's something to work on in 2 rights. Debbie had 2 so's. Brooke had 1 2 ums, 3 so's, and 1 like. Pat had 2 ums, 1 but, and 1 ah. So that's my report. Thank you.
Thank you, Stacy. May I please have a watcher report from Megan, please? You're on mute.
First, I think that everyone is learning how to do this Zoom thing pretty well, which is great for our jobs, that is very important. And first, I think that it is very good what Paul said. No, yes, I wrote that. Paul said about how, well, you don't know what I'm wearing underneath because you have such a good shirt and everything. And that was a long time ago, Paul. And Pat, he looked good with his collared shirt. And we have a cute cat. And Lucille, Deanna, Devin, Angelus, Paul, Jerry, Greg, Jesse, Angel, Brooke, Anita, Stacy, and Adrian. I think you all, that those were the people that looked great they're good for a job or whatever they're doing. Angel, you had pretty background. And Devin, I loved the color shirt you're wearing. That's real good to bring out. And thanks.
Did you see her nails too? Show me your nails.
Oh, great.
Thank you, Megan. We probably all look professional on top, but like me, I'm wearing sweats.
Yeah.
Or pants. So okay, may I please have a report for the general evaluator? I mean, yeah, Brooke. Thank you.
Thank you, Angela. Well, I had so much fun today. Thank you. I needed a fun day. This week has been super stressful and super hard. So I just love hearing about magic and gratitude and just all the good things that we should be thinking about right now. Angelus, I think you've done a great job first time, and I know how nerve-wracking it is. I remember my first time and it was so scary. So great job. I love that, great transition from everyone. And you did a great explanation of the theme. Deanna, loved how you welcomed everyone, especially the 3 of us that the 3 first times. Anita, I love listening to you. You always, I just love your speeches. You flow so easily and very inspiring. And I just love that you challenge us at the end, and then you finish with a quote. Jerry, you gave Anita all the praise and the encouragement and gave her great feedback, and that was great for me to hear and learn. Adrian, I loved how that your table topics related so well with the theme, and the analogies of the car and the quotes. I love quotes, so I got to learn some new ones today. Great choice of words, gratitude, happiness, magic, and even though we only had 1 speaker, it was great how you included everyone. You had questions for everyone, and everyone was able to just be included. All the table topics speakers were great. Angel, you're always so enthusiastic. I love Lucille, how you couldn't answer your question, but you decided to, go ahead and stay in and answer another question. Paul's story with his daughter was really lovely to hear. And Stacey, you know, living outside the box. I think everyone did such a great job. So yeah, thank you everyone.
Thank you, Brooke. That was really informative. So now I will present to you the winners for today. Speaker 1, Anita. For evaluator, Jerry, of course. And now for the table topics, drum roll, we have Angel 1 for drum, yeah, for table topics. So congratulations, everyone. I believe that's all of you get to hear from me. So thank you. I will return the meeting back to Deanna. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
What a splendiferous job there, Angelus. And with that, let's take our splendiferous picture. Everybody ready? Let's do our splendiferous picture. Okay, is that good? Okay, let's see. Let me share my screen. It's weird. It's not working. It says host disabled, participant screen sharing. So once it's enabled, that's okay. Okay, perfect. And let's see. Can you see the pathways progress? Everybody? Fantastic. Look at this. Anita is 2/3 of the way through to her level 3. Yay! So one more elective and you will have achieved level 3. That would be excellent level to achieve. And the next thing that I want to do is, actually I'm gonna do something a little different. Let me just stop sharing. Okay, and I'm gonna put something on the chat and I want to see if you guys can all click on it. Okay, almost there. Let me put it in the chat for everyone. Can everybody click on that link? You might have to shrink your Zoom, the pictures of everybody, but in order to see that. But can everybody? Yeah. Can everybody click on that? Okay, so if you guys can put your name, if each person can put their name on a date of a role function, that would be kind of a different thing to do, a different way to approach this. It's kind of cool. I can see the names filling up. That's neat. I see all these different colors. We need a couple evaluators for next week. We need an awe counter, a general evaluator, joke master, watcher. But each person just fill out one spot, fill out one yellow spot on there. That would help us all out. Look at that. It's like magic. Is anybody having any challenges? Just curious. Cool. Looks like everybody's able to just zip in on and fill up some spots. Now, if
I can't, I don't know how to sign up, but I'll
okay,
sign
which one
up.
did you want? Which one did you want, Megan? And I'll put your name.
the only one that's open. I'll count.
Wow, there's a lot open.
No, next week.
Oh, next week there's All Counter.
Yeah,
Did you want to be All Counter?
sure.
Okay. Let me put you down, Megan. Okay. And as you're filling out your name, break down what your role is or what you're filling out, so you can reference it later when we all sign out of here. But the important thing is to somehow make this link a favorite of yours on your computer, your laptop, your iPad. And that way you can always go in and fill it out when you want to. And you can also make any changes. So thank you so much. All right. And with that, anybody have any announcements or anything they want to say? Stacy.
Oh, I just wanted to mention there's a little program or an app you can get on your phone called Sheets. And that's how I access, and you can get to the Google Sheets that way.
Good,
if you want
good point.
Or your iPad or something.
Yeah, good point. I get to it through my Drive account, my Google Drive account. But yeah, Sheets is definitely a good way to access it too.
I don't know how to get on. Can you hear